नमस्कार, मेरा नाम रवि गुप्ता है। मैं सीईओ एंड फाउंडर हूँ इलेट्स टेक्नो मीडिया प्राइवेट लिमिटेड का। इलेट्स एक 17 साल पुरानी संस्था है जिसका उद्देश्य है कि जनता में और ओवरऑल सोसाइटी में इनोवेशंस के बारे में आइडियाज स्प्रेड हो। और हम लोग पिछले 16 सालों से मैगजीन निकाल रहे हैं जिसका नाम है ईगव मैगजीन। ये मैगजीन भारत की और एशिया की पहली और अकेली ई गवर्नेंस मैगजीन है। इसके अलावा हम लोग एक और मैगजीन निकालते हैं जिसका नाम है ई हेल्थ, और उसके अलावा हम लोग एक मैगजीन है हमारी एजुकेशन पे, इसको डिजिटल लर्निंग। ये तीनों मैगजीन्स हमारी 16 साल से निरंतर आ रही हैं, हर महीने आ रही हैं, प्रिंट में आ रही हैं, ऑनलाइन आ रही हैं। और उसके अलावा हम लोग एक मैगजीन निकालते हैं बैंकिंग एंड फाइनेंस पोस्ट, जो पिछले 7 साल से हम लोग निकाल रहे हैं। और हम लोग पूरे देश में 100 से ज़्यादा शहरों में कॉन्फ्रेंसेस, वर्कशॉप्स, इनोवेशंस के अलग अलग एस्पेक्ट्स में कर चुके हैं, अलग अलग एरियाज में कर चुके हैं। 30 से ज़्यादा सेक्टर्स में हम लोग काम करते हैं और देश के बाहर भी ये 10 शहरों में हम लोग इन विषयों पर कॉन्फ्रेंसेस करते आए हैं। आज हम लोग वेबिनार में आज हम लोग हमारी जो गेस्ट हैं, वो हमारे जो स्पीकर हैं वो हैं मानसी सहाय ठाकुर। ये आईएएस अधिकारी हैं जो मैनेजिंग डायरेक्टर हैं हिमाचल प्रदेश स्टेट सिविल सप्लाईज कॉर्पोरेशन की, जो शॉर्ट फॉर्म में HPSCSC कहा जाता है। तो आज उनके साथ हम लोग चर्चा कर रहे हैं कि कोविड-19 की सिचुएशन में किस प्रकार हिमाचल प्रदेश सरकार अपनी जनता तक जो है फूड सप्लाईज को निरंतर पहुंचा रही है, और क्या क्या उसमें चुनौतियां आ रही हैं और कैसे उन चुनौतियों का सामना ये डिपार्टमेंट कर रहा है। तो मानसी जी, आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है इस कार्यक्रम में। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, आप हमारे साथ जुड़ी हैं आज। नमस्कार।
Thank you very much, Gupta ji. Thank you. Good evening to everyone, and thank you for having me with you.
तो मानसी जी, इसके पहले कि हम लोग कोविड के बारे में हम लोग डिस्कशन हो, एक अपने बारे में बताएं, आपकी शिक्षा, आपका करियर, और क्या आपको इंस्पिरेशन मिली कि आपने सोचा कि मुझे आईएएस की सर्विसेज में जाना है।
So, I am from Maharashtra, a Bihari who brought up in Maharashtra, and I am a mechanical engineer. I have done my mechanical engineering from Government College of Engineering, Pune. So right from the beginning, there were ideas of writing the service, but the thing that inspired me the most was the spectrum and the scope of working that is provided by the services. So the entire gamut in which one can operate, that truly excited me, and I think that was the biggest factor that brought me and inspired me into writing the services.
Great, fantastic. So, Mansi ji, if you can explain about the mandate of the Himachal Pradesh State Civil Supplies Corporation, what it is supposed to do in normal circumstances itself, so that our audience has an idea about it.
Yeah, so before I come to the role of Himachal Pradesh State Civil Supplies Corporation, I think it is very important to set a context under which we are working. So firstly, I would like to speak about our state of Himachal Pradesh, a hilly state, over 55,000 square kilometers of area, which makes it a big hilly state. Area-wise, it is larger than Punjab, Haryana, or Uttarakhand. At the same time, our population, which is close to 70 lakhs. So it is a very dispersed population. Our population is scattered all over the geographical area. And however, the social understanding and the social contract between the government and the people is such that the people very much expect, and the government is very much committed in providing each and every services, even to the last household in the corner of the state. So be it electricity, water, ration. So the government is committed that it will provide it to the people of the state. However, there are challenges like in the plain areas, say in states like Punjab, Haryana and all, when the traveling distance takes just 8 hours, in Himachal it will take double or more than double the time. So we have very far-flung areas which have to be catered to. And in this context, the overall costs involved in service delivery, that also escalates. So having said that, if I come to the public distribution system in Himachal Pradesh, so in rough figures, we have more than 18.5 ration card holders, covering a population of over close to 70 lakhs. So if you see, then we have a universal PDS system, and obviously there's a targeted population which has to be served as per the mandate of the National Food Security Act. But right across the gamut, people across section are covered by the public distribution system and are provided ration by the state government. So we are one of the few states in the country which are aiming at which have universal PDS. And in this context, I would like to come to Himachal, my organization. So the Himachal Pradesh State Civil Supplies Corporation is the central procurement agency. So it was set up with that particular idea way back in 1980. However, over time, so along with being the central procurement agency, it was also responsible for going ahead and distributing through its wholesale godown base to the fair price shops, which are the last points of delivery for the people of the state. So that is where the FPS, the fair price shop, is the place where anybody can go to his fair price shop and get the ration. So that is my mandate, to procure and to ensure that the supply chain remains intact, so that there is always ration being fed in to the fair price shops. And of course, over years, we have diversified with medicine shops, cement, and other things, activities as well. But particularly in today's time, in the time of COVID-19, for us, it is very important that we have to ensure that timely, sufficient, and uninterrupted supplies are maintained to the fair price shops through our godowns. So, in short, that is the mandate. And in this particular backdrop, yes.
Fantastic. So, will you, as you explained about the mandate of the organization, now how things evolved when the COVID-19 situation emerged? So, if you can mention about pre-lockdown stage and post-lockdown stage, like how the things changed dramatically.
Yes. So, in this COVID-19 situation, along with ensuring that the regular supplies under the state subsidy schemes and the central schemes reach people, we also now have to ensure, our Honorable CM has made certain important announcements of giving to a particular category advance ration. The Honorable Prime Minister has also come up with the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Ann Yojana, under which we are providing free rice, again to a targeted section along with the pulse. So there's added responsibility. However, the challenges are immense. So in normal times, where I wouldn't be needed to make a phone call and things would just happen in a normal and routine matter, today I'm required to make over 100 phone calls a day. So things have definitely improved, but the first 3 weeks of lockdown were very, very crucial for us, and few difficulties still continue. So if I'm to talk about the challenges, the biggest challenge for Himachal Pradesh is that, we are a very beautiful and naturally endowed state. However, when it comes to food sufficiency, we are highly dependent on other states of India. So my supply chain is very long. It extends to different states of the country. So I have pulses coming in from Andhra Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan. I have edible oils which are coming in from Gujarat and Haryana, sugar coming in from Haryana, and then packaging happening in Delhi. So my supply chain is very long. So that is my biggest challenge after the lockdown, though there were several directives which had come up by the Ministry of Home Affairs, but the actual translation on field level is a different, it's a different matter altogether. So for example, like in Andhra Pradesh, so in Andhra Pradesh, we get our urad dal, black gram dal from Andhra Pradesh. So in normal times, the movement of around 1,000 metric ton happens in a week's time through railway containers. Then it goes to Delhi for milling, and then it comes to Himachal. In today's time, I haven't been able to lift that particular stock of close to 700 metric ton of dal even after a month's time. So today, I am expecting that the final installment from Andhra Pradesh will arrive in Delhi for milling purposes from the state warehousing corporation godowns in Andhra Pradesh. So it has taken me 1 month, but I have still had to make a lot many phone calls even for it to happen in 1 month. So there were issues of transportation. So though we found there were trucks, the transporter had trucks, but the truckers, they ran away because our dals were located, the pulses were located, and the warehouses were located in hotspot locations where suddenly Kurnool became a hotspot from where we had to lift, and there was panic. So finding drivers became an issue. When you find drivers, labor, you need labor as well for lifting, that becomes an issue. Then you have to make phone calls for many other things. So this is one challenge. And like Madhya Pradesh, every place, be it Madhya Pradesh, my lifting is going on in Tonk as well in Rajasthan. So I have to make phone calls for that as well. So the long supply chain and the fact that the material is traveling, like from Madhya Pradesh, it is covering close to 1500 kilometers of distance. And in Madhya Pradesh also, one has to really depend on labor and other factors. So, and they're moving over trucks, so they're crossing a lot many states. So even if the DC passes an order, but there at the barrier, the check post level, the police in person who is deployed over there will say कि मुझे DSP के orders चाहिए. So these are practical difficulties when one has to then coordinate with the DC, the SP of the district, and keep making phone calls with respect to labor, the permits that are needed for movement of man and material. So that is another coordination. So if I say the long supply chain is the biggest challenge, then the interstate transportation, the trucks, the presence of hotspot areas from where we are lifting, that is another challenge. Finding labor for loading and in our state as well for unloading throughout the state and at a go down level, labor becomes a challenge. The issue of permits also is a big challenge. And then we are operating with 50% of normal labor, even in the state where we have to unload our material. So that is a big challenge, and the state of fear and panic that is around. So in many places, even in Himachal Pradesh, my trucks have been standing for 2-3 days, loaded trucks which have to be freed because the labor has run away, and Nalagarh, one of the hotspots, was completely sealed off. So one has to figure out, keep motivating people to come, take care of them that you will be taken care of with respect to health and safety. So these are the several challenges which have come up in this COVID situation. And one thing that I would definitely like to touch upon is, like, again, for example, pulses, they come to Delhi for milling, but they have to be packaged. Oils have to be packaged. So for packaging material, there are industries which were initially, they were not included in the essential items list. So we had to, all the states took it up, and Government of India was always very supportive and kind enough to come up with interventions. However, a supply chain, even for the packaging materials, goes to Dadra and Nagar Haveli, goes to Gujarat. So, the raw material needs to come from there to some industry in Baddi for making pouches, which then goes to Delhi and Haryana for filling and then comes back. So my supply chain is very complicated, and there are many factors that it is dependent on. So nobody had envisaged the scenario that COVID-19 would bring about. So as it is continuing, like today as well, my oils and oil, the packaging related to oil, the industry has been shut in Baddi. So I have to look for contingency planning, plan A, plan B, look for some other industry, ensure that, you know, I have to coordinate to get the permits done for the labor as well, so that the pouches are made, because the oil has to be packaged in that. So these are various challenges which are coming up on a day-to-day basis in this pandemic situation.
Very interesting. The uh, what you just said, that the linkages, the forward linkages, the backward linkages, the supply chain, and how the various states of India are interrelated in terms of supply of grains, uh, cleaning it, milling it, packaging it. It's like highly complex systems.
Yes.
So tell us how uh, the PDS system in your state is quite dispersed, quite distributed. So how did you handle this challenge of like making all the PDS stores having the right amount of quantity of grains or supplies, and these supplies actually reaching to the common man?
Yes. So I'll just mention that firstly, my first challenge was to ensure that all the supplies reach my godowns, which are the feeding centers. So we have a network all over the state of 117 godowns, which feed close to 4,980 around. This is the number of a fair price shops. So they are the feeding centers for the fair price shops. So for that, like I said, we are also planning contingency wise. So we, in normal times, when I would place my order, I had a particular schedule of ordering. So when I speak about a particular schedule, you place a demand, it is catered to, it takes a certain time. But right now, I'm also going a bit aggressive on the demand placement. So when I speak about demand placement, once I place the demand, after few days, I'm also placing other demands. So in Himachal Pradesh, the biggest constraint is about the storage. You know, storage is a big concern for me. So my available storage capacity, the stocking capacity was close to 61,000 metric ton in the state. But we have to, like I spoke about contingency planning, we are trying very hard. So we have identified additional space, we've made provision for it, and enhanced for this particular period. We have enhanced our stocking capacity to 91,000 metric ton. The reason being that I have additional stock coming in. Now it's not my storage in normal times was as per my monthly requirements and a bit more. But today, Himachal Pradesh, we are trying that we have stocks for close to 1.5 to 2 months. So that's why we are going aggressive on that. So sugar also, like for example, in sugar, we have close to 180% sugar stocks with us. So we have stocks for close to 2 months. So that is how we are going about with it. And we are again feeding it. So the whole chain needs to be maintained. So with the department, there's a directorate which regulates the PDS shops. So with them, we are ensuring that the material movement keeps happening, that the consumer keeps off taking, so that there's space at the FPS level, and the FPS, then the fair price shops then lift it from our godowns. So this is like a daily kind of monitoring exercise that we are doing. Now, having spoken about that, we are also keeping a plan A, plan B, plan C. For example, I told you about Andhra Pradesh that the lifting of pulses took us 1 month, which would have otherwise taken us just 7 to 10 days. So in that case, we took up the matter with Government of India, and meanwhile, we got additional allocation for the state done through the Government of India's agency, NAFID, which is the stock holding agency at the national level for pulses and other things. So we got additional allocation, and meanwhile we lifted it from Rajasthan. So, these are things that we are trying to do on a regular basis, trying to gauge what are the situations. We are trying to foresee many situations, but I also admit that in such an environment, there are few things which cannot be foreseen. For example, my tribal areas. My tribal areas are very crucial for me. So we usually send supplies in advance, 6 months supplies in advance to our tribal areas as well. So presently, my area of Lahore and Pangi, which are accessible only through the Rohtang Pass. So we had planned that we would supply the material as soon as the Rohtang Pass opens. But over the last week, there has been a lot of snowfall and Rohtang is not cleared up. So now, but however, we know that there are stocks there. But my further movement for the further months can happen only after the pass opens up by the end of this month. So these are certain things which were not, which are beyond our control. So we are trying to gauge as things come around that how do we, what are the contingencies we need to plan of? How do we go about it? So when I spoke about oil packaging, we found another industry in Noida. So we had to give them few flexibilities of packaging. So we are going about it in that manner. And if I speak about the present situation in the state, presently we are very much comfortable. In this present month, all the fair price shops have uplifted the present month's quota, and the next month's quota has also started arriving. Few items are already there in surplus, and we are trying that the few other items like oils and all, which were facing few issues, the next month's supplies also commence at the earliest. So right now we are at a comfortable position, but we have to really strive hard. The whole organization and the government is striving hard to maintain this supply chain.
Great. Hats off to you for great efforts in building up the supply chain itself. I want to ask you that a lot of issues happen in the last mile, like your supplies have reached the fair price shop, and then the problem happens that there is black marketing, there are issues, all that happens. So how do you handle those issues?
So, there is a Directorate of Food and Civil Supplies in the state, which has regulatory powers, and they have the district food and civil supplies officers and inspectors in all districts who are checking this tendency of black marketing. On the other hand, there is a well-developed MIS system as well, because all the sale is happening through POS machines. So there is data which is flowing back to us, through which we know that what is the offtake. So though it is not directly the corporation's mandate, there is an agency in the state which is taking care of this. And even when it comes to, like you spoke about overpricing, so there is a very clear system in the state, like in the state subsidy scheme, we are providing fortified salt, oil, sugar, and pulses. So in that, the state specifies that what is the rate at which it is to be sold, and the differential is borne in the form of subsidy by the state government. So that is also a well versed. IEC is also done. A lot of awareness is done. There are toll free numbers as well for any grievances which are being, there are definitely tendencies. I agree, there are tendencies. There are few instances also which keep happening, but there are checks and balances in the system, and constant efforts are made to ensure that these tendencies are struck to the minimum.
Right. And please tell us, is there a role of IT in management of the whole system you are running?
Yeah, so we have this very detailed MIS system, and through which, at our go down levels also, as soon as stock arrives, so the computerized, so the entire corporation has been computerized. So as soon as stocks arrive in our go downs, there is entry made. When stocks are further given to the FPS people, there are entries made in a computerized system, and there is MIS information flowing in, which we are reviewing at a daily level. So for monitoring purposes also, we are depending on these reports which are flowing into us, and the sales also, what sales are happening. So that is also, and the entry of sales is also being done on this system. So we have computerized our systems so that the reports which are flowing into us, the go down wise reports or the district wise reports, they are helping us to get a true idea of what are our positions, and accordingly how should the demand for in the next supply order be placed. So we have gone for that. We've also gone for vehicle tracking systems in the corporation, because we have commercial vehicles which are also tending to this intrastate movement of material. So that does help us. Our LPG agencies are also on the oil companies. They are on a particular MIS module. Our medicine shops, which are expected to run 24 into 7, they are also on an MIS module. So our people, we have a dedicated IT team which is looking after it. And I must just take this opportunity to mention the frontline warriors of the corporation. So they are our go down, the people who are actually there, who are doing the running around in the field, collaborating with laborers. There are issues, so finding laborers, collaborating with different agencies on the ground level to ensure that unloading and other things, the supply movement happens in time. So these are our real warriors, our managers at the field level, the go down in charges, the public distribution helpers and all, who are really working day in and day out to ensure that this happens, and our IT team as well. So I should really make a mention of them as well, because they are the ones who are actually keeping this corporation running.
Yes, and hats off to those staff who are right now in this challenging situation are working in the field. Please explain how are you maintaining their health and protection of those staff who are working in the field at this situation, that they are safe.
So the safety and security of our employees is of topmost priority for us and the state government. And we have provided all due necessary instructions, the sanitizers, masks, for our, for people like the laborers who are working in the LPG agencies, who take the LPG cylinders to places. We have placed orders so that they start using protective gear. So we are getting protective gears for them, and we are sanitizing our go down complexes on a regular basis. When trucks arrive, because they are coming from so many states, we have a standard protocol that we follow, and after unloading, the sanitation of the drivers, and also we have a certain protocol that we follow. So we are taking those steps to ensure that the morale and the safety of our workers is not compromised. So we are taking all those efforts.
And there are some questions here on the screen, so I would request if you can look at it.
Okay, so as I can see, one question is, how much of geospatial technology is used in managing COVID logistics? So, like I said, geospatial technologies come into play like in our vehicle tracking systems and all. I would say that the use is limited, but this is the limited use that I can think of, which is happening in the corporation presently. And the other things are just from our go downs, the information flowing in. So it is just the vehicle tracking system which I feel uses this technology. And then I've been asked by Mr. Souvik Goswami, how difficult is it to reach out to the last mile with civil supplies in the difficult terrains of HP, and how technology has been leveraged to overcome these challenges? So like I said, for the last mile connectivity, we have our go downs also dispersed all over the state. So the technology, like I spoke about right now, to ensure that they are connected. So we have ensured that there's good connectivity there till the last mile, so that information also keeps flowing in. So I feel that is how we are trying to ensure that if we get genuine data flowing in, then we'll be able to get a true idea. On the other hand, in COVID times, I must say that we have our employees, area managers also in different districts of the state, be it Chamba, be it Sirmaur, in distant districts as well. And we are using technology, we are using, say, video mobile for, we are constantly in touch over VC. We are meeting very regularly to know about what are the challenges which are coming on a daily basis, how we brainstorm over the video conference and come up with solutions. So this group exercise has also been happening. So we are using technology to a great extent. And so I'm being asked about drone surveys. I don't think that I'll be able to answer that question. What is the total finance that is being put into for drone surveys? I don't have an answer to that because I'm not aware of the right facts in the matter. And I'm also asked about this question by Mr. Anil Chauhan as to HP is known to provide almost all essential commodities like oil, salt, sugar, pulses, apart from wheat and rice. In the event of COVID-19, when the people flock to PDS shops, what measures have your government taken to ensure that people can get all the ration items due to them at one go, and they don't have to come to PDS shops again and again for every item you provide? So, like I said, we have close to 5,000 PDS shops. And so what we are doing is, and the corporation also has a few PDS shops, close to a very small number of 72. So what we are doing is, firstly, every shop owner has all the details of the PDS card holders in his particular jurisdiction. So what actually is happening, it is being, the ration is being given in a staggered form. So the shopkeeper is coordinating with the people to ensure that he's calling them at certain intervals. So staggering of the supply is happening. And like I spoke about, in present time, we have taken care that all material is available, though there are certain ups and downs. But the thing that is happening is that, which we are seeing, is that people are also really very keen that whatever items are available, they should go and get it. However, there is a lot of coordination happening and social distancing norms. So there are so I also had photos with me, but I don't think I'll be able to share them. But how people have to maintain social distancing while standing in queue for getting the ration, that is another thing. So first stagger the inflow of people, and B, when the people come, ensure that social distancing norms are followed. So this is how we are trying to address the matter right now. And if I move ahead, Mr. Harshal Desai is talking about measures for black marketing and how well equipped the depots are. So I've already covered these in the topics that I've spoken about earlier. So the next question is by Mr. Arpit Gupta, and uninterrupted supply. He's speaking about ensuring uninterrupted supply of essential items to the poor and needy amidst the lockdown, transportation of goods from one place to another, and how are you dealing to maintain the supply, demand and supply chain. So, Mr. Gupta, I've already covered these points, but a few other things, like the organization is right now operating a lot in a flatter fashion. So in normal times, when there were issues, they would be escalated to me, say, through 2 or 3 levels. And then they would come to me when my intervention would have been needed. But in today's time, to ensure that the supply chain is not hampered, as the MD of the corporation, I am dealing with the vendors directly to a great extent, finding out from them what are the issues. Is there anything, anything which needs to be taken up with the respective district administration where the supplies are coming from? or even with the transporters. So the transporters are a very vital link for us, because the availability of trucks, availability of truckers, not just the trucks but the truck drivers, and the comfort of the truck drivers. So initially there was a lot of I would say reservation on the part of the truck drivers in traveling. So many of them travel with their ration, but many say that we are dependent on dhabas. So because of the lockdowns, the dhabas were closed. So what do we do? So we had to also motivate a lot of the local truck unions in Himachal Pradesh to contribute to the cause. But like I said, for the rates in Himachal and of the truck freight are way higher than what they are in the plains. So that was also proving to be a crucial link. So we were in direct touch with the transporters. So like I said, to maintain the demand and supply chain, we are trying to be in direct contact, and as MD, I'm trying to be in direct contact with the vendors, with the transporters, then constant monitoring. So this is an added feature. This is some additional information that what we have been doing, along with the information that I've already mentioned. And moving on, there's a question by Mr. Subir Gautam about in the backdrop of corona crisis and lockdown, civil supplies has become much more significant. Please tell us about the direct procurement from farmers and also the special essential package supplies to consumers in the remotest parts. So, Mr. Gautam, firstly, like I said, we don't have the procurement process happening in our state, because we are a food grain deficit state. So procurement happens, like procurement I know is a big thing in Andhra Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh. We are dependent on these states. So if the procurement happens well in the other states, the stocks are in good supply, and we coordinate with the Government of India agencies for lifting our stocks. So we are not into procurement. We are into getting the procured stuff from other states and maintaining our stocks in Himachal Pradesh to service our fair price shops. So this is, and in the remotest parts, we are definitely facing certain issues. Like in spite, there are a lot of migrant laborers and all also who are stuck here, and who are not, unfortunately, who are not covered under the universal PDS. Like the way I told you the figures show that our ration system, the FPS system, PDS system is universal. However, in this present crisis situation, there is a certain percentage which is remaining uncovered from the PDS system, for which through the district administrations, the state government is reaching out to them and providing them packages of these items. So I am just moving on because there are many questions. So there is one question by Mr. Dr. Karthik Sharma, and it is about खाद्यान्नों की काला बाजारी विगत दिनों में. So Gupta ji, is it fine if I just pick up the keywords?
Yeah. Enough. Yes.
Yeah. So इसमें इन्होंने बात की है काला बाजारी के बारे में और उससे उत्पन्न होने वाली महंगाई को रोकने के लिए. तो मैंने शर्मा जी मैंने पहले ही इसका जवाब दिया है. मैं आशा करती हूँ कि उसमें आपका जो कंसर्न है वो हो गया है. बस शॉर्ट में बताने के लिए, हम लोग डेली बेसिस पर स्टेट गवर्नमेंट जो है इस पर नजर रखे हुए हैं, और लोग इस पर इंस्पेक्टर्स और DFSCs जो हैं डिस्ट्रिक्ट लेवल पर, ये इसमें भरपूर काम कर रहे हैं कोशिश करने के लिए कि लोगों को किसी प्रकार की पीड़ा ना हो. And then I'll move on to Sai Varsha ji, and the question is pertaining urban planners and their role and contribution to planning for logistics and management. So this is a very wide question, but obviously urban planning, in terms of, if I talk in terms of reaching, so there is a big question in the hilly regions about the dispersed settlement, and because there is some sort of as we see in hilly areas, lack of planning and lack of accessibility, therefore the concept of door to door service which is happening in many states, and even in Himachal Pradesh in the relatively plain and higher density areas it's happening. But urban planning definitely plays a role, but I don't know how effective right now in this stage. How much can we do in this stage? So we have to make do with the setup which is already available to us and move forward with it. And how do you keep the motivation of frontline warriors high? That has been asked by Madam Priya Yadav. So it is definitely a big challenge, but having a good communication channel with them, and being in constant touch with the field agencies, I feel, is a vital link. And through them, so we have also given them written appreciation letters. So as MD have written to them appreciating their efforts. So there are small things, and there are the employee union people also stay in touch with me. So if there are any small concerns that come up, then they definitely bring it to my notice. So addressing them on priority is also a way of showing that how much we care about them and how much importance they hold for us. So we keep that is how we make an effort to keep their motivation levels high. And so can people, next question is by Mr. Rupin Sharma, that whether people in villages can raise demands in the MIS. So that is not possible. But if there is any shortfall, there is a mechanism of these of the food inspectors and the DFSCs at the district levels, who are supposed to monitor this, be in constant touch with the representatives of the panchayats, and then accordingly make their demands, and they place the demands for monthly supplies. So we accordingly take care of it. So what steps are being taken? Mr. Som is asking for home delivering essential commodities. So like I said, Himachal has its own challenges, and there are many districts in the state where the population density and the connectivity is relatively better. So it is definitely happening, but I must admit that with the challenges that we have, it is very difficult, because it's not just about road connectivity. Even beyond the road, people have to walk for a certain distance, at times for long distances, to reach the household. So with these challenges, it is quite difficult in the upper reaches of the state, but it is happening in many districts like Kangra, Hamirpur, and Bilaspur. So there's a question by Mr. Chong. Going forward, will there be an active action by the state to look into increasing its own capacity to grow more of its own necessities and produce its own packaging materials? So this is a very good question. It really holds a lot of relevance for all the states, I feel. However, like I said, Himachal, we definitely look at it, but we are also a horticultural state where many of our people are engaged in horticultural activities, growing apples, cherries, seasonal fruits. We have a lot of seasonal vegetables coming in, but unfortunately, the massive demand, like our rice demand is close to 16 to 17,000 metric ton in a particular month. So our land holdings, because there are I would say the absence of consolidated land holdings in Himachal Pradesh for large scale farming. That is one thing that comes to my mind, why it is difficult for the government to move ahead and go for large scale farming activities of a particular item. And like I spoke, through our PDS system, we are meeting not just the requirements of food grains. We are giving our people 3 pulses. We give them options of taking 3 out of 4 pulses. So we give them 4 options and they can pick up 3. We give them sugar, edible oils. We give them fortified salt. So our dependence will be being a universal PDS and also covering a range of items that is being supplied. It is definitely a challenge, but yes, I agree, we should be looking at it. You've also spoken about packaging materials. So in our industrial areas, we have industries which are producing their packaging materials. Like I spoke, about the oil poly pouches which are being produced. However, they were shut in our industrial area. But there are industries, and we are trying to promote industries in our industrial areas to come up with packaging materials and cater to our requirements. So we are definitely trying that. And moving along, Mr. Arora has asked about administrative challenges. So I hope, Arora ji, I have covered them in my previous pointers. And there is a question by Mr. Vijay Sharma. If COVID situation and lockdown lasts for a longer period of time, what can be the mantra to keep motivating the workforce engaged in the supplies? So, this is a very important point that you've raised. This is a daily challenge, and it requires a lot to keep our field staff motivated. And what can be the mantra? It's just, I feel right now all of us are driven by this feeling of providing our services. So I think that is something, a thread that is running common, that it is something which is coming from within. And I'm really lucky enough to be leading such an organization where I take pride in the employees of my organization, and I know that how much they are working and how much they are self motivated. And obviously, like I spoke about, this constant and direct link between the head office, between the MD and the employees of the corporation, and catering to their needs, understanding their challenges, and addressing them, is, I feel, is the mantra, that just work as a family. That's what I tell all my employees, that we are a family working for a cause, and we are serving people. So all of us, I think, are working towards that, and that is the mantra that we are adopting, that we are family, we are serving our state, and that's why we have to keep going. So I think I've covered all. Yes, there's one question by Mr. Vikas Chandra about uh, total essential food percentage that is being managed by HP Civil Supplies Corporation, and something about regular and private retailers. So, like I said, the essential food items, yes, covers everybody. But the open market is also, that is another sector where people are dependent on for their additional requirements and added requirements. So obviously steps are also being taken to ensure of the open, of the wholesale people in the open market is also taken care of. That oil is also coming from somewhere from Gujarat, flour from Punjab and Haryana and Rajasthan. So steps are also being taken to help them and aid them in keeping their supply chains intact. So I think have
Yes.
questions.
You have answered a long set of questions.
Yes.
Thanks for that. So I will ask you one last question.
Thank
That
you.
there is a government order to open up some of the essential services. Some of the factories are getting opened, and so in the how are you seeing the next 1 month?
So, like I said, the first 1 month has been very challenging. It has been very challenging, but as I see, things are easing up. So, regarding the essential services, also, the government of India also has been very proactive, and our Honorable Chief Minister, who also is the chairman of the corporation, coincidentally, he's the Minister of Food here. So he's also been taking up such issues. So we have been addressing them on case-to-case basis by taking them up with Government of India. So things are easing out. So I just hope that things keep getting better down the line, and they are definitely things are easing up. And I hope that now with these more open things, the secondary supply chain,
Mm.
for like the packaging industry and all, where we are still reeling with certain difficulties, they will definitely get more streamlined. So that is the hope that I have.
Great. So we are ending the questions here, and lastly, I would request Mansi ji, your opinion about ILET's initiative of bridging the gap between the government and the citizens, and creating awareness about what are the initiatives the government departments are taking. So your suggestions and inputs on this.
Firstly, I must appreciate Illit's Technomedia, because you've been conducting many such talks, and I feel for administrators it is very important to through such platforms, because there are so many questions today. I think there were questions from Andhra Pradesh, there were questions from Rajasthan, and all. So it's a very good way of understanding what people are feeling, to get in touch with them through such a forum. On the other hand, as administrator, to attend such sessions, I feel I really look forward to attending such sessions as well, because as administrators, we always look for ideas, and there may be some eureka idea lying somewhere with someone else, which can be brought forth to such sessions. And I feel they're really helpful, and I would really say that please carry on with this, and you're doing very good work, and all the best to Illit's Technomedia as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mansi ji, and I thank all the audience for being here on this session. And I will request each of you to please like and share this video, so that more and more people are aware that how the government of Himachal Pradesh and Mansi ji in particular are taking steps to help the citizens in this crisis situation of COVID-19, and maybe someone in some other state gets inspired and learns from the effort of Himachal Pradesh. So with this, I thank Mansi ji again. Namaskar.
Thank you. Namaste. Thank you.
Thank you so much.